What is happening, Bucs fans? We are back. We are live here on a Wednesday night, and there's already a bunch of things to discuss, Mark. A lot of topics. We got trade rumors galore starting up. We got coaching staff news, a lot to dive into. And really, this show is going to be about what we think as far as offseason plans. I know we've discussed it in the past here over the last several weeks, but really want to dive into like names and potential targets that the Buccaneers should be looking at. We already come up with a draft favorite for ourselves as far as 15 goes, so we'll discuss that. But yeah, with that said, I want to just welcome everybody in. Appreciate if you're joining us here live, either on Twitter or on YouTube. Be sure to leave us comments. Love to hear from you guys. A little different start time. We're trying to start these earlier for you all. But with that said, Mark, welcome in. How are we doing? I know you're amped about this and ready to get going here.
Yeah, there's a lot of to talk about.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things going through my mind and like situations and just the whole reason why we started this thing. I kind of talked to you about it before the show. It's like it's all about our perspective of the team and then counteracting what maybe radio stations or other people who talk about the Bucs, how they feel and how they guide a fan base to think. Yeah. It's like, well, guess what? Like everyone can have their own opinion. You don't just have to agree with the whole audience, right? Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, in my thought processor, which is up in that noggin of mine, kind of thinks differently at times. And it's like, I'm not going to go with the masses and think, oh, this one way. Because even like simple decision, fire Bowles end of the year. We both at the end of the day agreed on that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I would defend Bowles almost every day, 6 out of the 7 days of the week. And then all of a sudden I'm like, damn it, Pless, you're starting to get yes, you're right. We got to fire him. And then at the end of the year, I was all in. I was like, get rid of his ass. And it was tough, but like, there's a lot of things we got to discuss. It's like there were variables that he had no control over. Injuries, you can't do it, right? Yeah. Like, and it wasn't just on his side of the ball, it was the offensive side of the ball, and that is what equated to a bad season. The head coach takes the brunt of that force, right? Because it's a production-based league. You got to win. Hell, I even threw about how he has 3 and 4 game losing streaks almost every year of his head coaching career. I slandered the damn guy. But there's two different sides of the sword, right? So I guess we're going to discuss that and just the direction the team should go, right? It's 100% should be defensive focused. I think we've been saying that for years, and that adds to my neglect to that defense of why the person who controls your player personnel should do more in that instance, because guess what? He did do things to get us to a Super Bowl. I'm talking about Jason Light. We're going to talk about trades and signings he's done in the past, which he hasn't done in recent years. And that needs to be talked about. And guys, if you want to bring it up in the chat, any questions or issues you have with what we're saying, it's great. We love to hear it and we love to discuss it. And yeah, Plus and I agree a lot, but sometimes when we butt heads, it's funny. So we hopefully get to that point.
Yeah, I want to bring this up. Obviously, this was the news. I think this broke yesterday. But this is something that I think has been in the works for a little bit. They interviewed him, I believe, last week, and now they finally came to a conclusion or agreement here, as you see there. The Buccaneers are bringing in Chandler Whitmere as their quarterbacks coach. He was the quarterbacks coach with Indiana last year. They won the championship, obviously working with Fernando Mendoza. I think this is a great move, a good hire to bring to the offensive staff. And not only is he, experienced coach, because he has worked in the NFL as well. He worked with Zach Robinson in Atlanta. He was their passing game, specialist, passing game coordinator. And guess what? That year they were 5th in passing yards in the league. So I think that's a big hire. And I think this is just a good move because I think it gets a different voice for not only Baker Mayfield. He has been working with Thad Lewis in the past. And I think it's time to turn that bridge from the Byron Leftwich kind of tree there that we had with Thad Lewis, and now you're bringing in a fresh face, someone that can help. And yeah, I like this move. I think Mark, how do you feel about this decision here? It just helps the staff overall.
I mean, anyone that I think I've told you this every damn time. If you touch that Signetti freaking coaching tree of the aggressiveness, nothing but football, that's all you think about, dedication, make it simplified, but understand when you're in the hours of work, you're working.
Mhm.
And I think that's huge. And for him already to have worked with a young, I mean, not personally, he was on the team with the Chargers. He wasn't the QB coach, but he was a consultant. He was offensive side of the ball.
Right.
With Justin Herbert was huge. Already knowing, okay, talent wise, how do I help in this dimension, right?
Mhm.
And then now Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, maybe just how he simplified things. And he was a co-offensive coordinator. I think that's huge. Not just being QB coach, but having input in the scheme to help that quarterback out, right? Understanding what his deficits are, what he can do well, and the fact that he was a quarterback is huge too for Connecticut. A lot of good talking points on that. And then also you see Chase Daniel. He's like, I coached him up. He was a coach for me. This is a guy that's going to be a bright star, right? One of those bright young coaches. It's cool that we got a guy like this, like you mentioned to me. Like, it's cool that we got a guy that had multiple offers, but he chose Tampa Bay, right? And that's huge. That is a win under your book, considering that. And it's good to have a bright mind that's worked with Zach Robinson too. Again, like don't just get, we mentioned earlier or later, yes men, right? Get guys that can be innovative and get your thinking. And I think that's what Zach Robinson brings. That's what Cohen brought. It's that not just the LA offense or LA wave thinking, because they've got it down. Like they say, it's like a college PhD in coaching. But Zach Robinson has the PFF side of it too, where he thinks numbers, analytics, what down and distance, what can I do, what would be high probability. You're bringing that in, but also a guy that's played the game, knows how to coach it up clearly with Fernando Mendoza. It was only 1 year, but still, it's like some of that stuff sticks with you. And the more you move up the ranks, the more you want to share that, because that's how you got there. And I'm anxious to see that come to fruition. And it's a good, fresh face, other than, like you said, the Leftwich tree stuff. But it was a good point. If Baker wanted him to stay, he would have stayed. And we moved quickly on this one.
Yeah, I think it's just getting, familiar faces and with your staff. I did a video and we talked, I think, what was that, a couple of days ago, talking about the new coaches that are being brought in by Zach Robinson. Obviously, TJ Yates is coming on. We have Ken Sampisi. You have Andrew Mitchell, who I like. He's coming in to replace Brian Picucci. He's going to be the assistant offensive line coach coming over from Oklahoma State. They were teammates back in college, him and Zach Robinson. So I think that's always a good sign. And now you bring those guys in to mix in with the established guys that you already have. And that is, your receivers coach and Brian McClendon. And then you have your running backs coach, Skip Pete. Tight end coach is still staying, and Justin Peel. So, yeah, I think overall the offensive staff is in good shape, and that's going to help you out. And now we'll have to see if they can get the defensive staff finalized. They brought in Marcus West in from the Buffalo Bills. Any thoughts on Marcus West? I know we're talking more about Chandler Whitmere, but any more? What's your thoughts of bringing in the guy from Buffalo? Obviously, he helped them as far as pass rush, had some struggles with the run defense, but I think most of that could probably be attributed to, no Ed Oliver, and it had some other injuries too.
Yeah, but just mentioning that name, Ed Oliver, a guy that's similar to the mold of what Kalijah Kancey is. So he knows that mold of a player, what you can do with it. Also, they had a lot of guys that I did like that they've drafted. Ed Oliver was probably the top one.
Right.
And then it's not Randy Gregory. It was the long, tall guy.
Gregory Rousseau.
Gregory Rousseau. I think it was Gregory.
Yeah.
That was huge on
Or
him.
Greg Russo. Yeah.
Greg Russo, but he was another one that is a big man to mold into something. And he was a pass rush specialist at Miami, and he turned into an edge rusher. He was mainly a defensive tackle. They moved into a defensive end, and he turned into a good, consistent player. We need that, right? Can we take our guys to that next level? I think Ed Oliver's a really good player. He's playing in a defense that was tough for him because he's smaller, but he still succeeded, and he was off to an amazing start, and then he got hurt. Similar to what happened to the Bucs, right? But that's the thing. We need pass rush. We need guys to get better in that fashion. But then again, we also need guys to run the race. Yeah. That's what I've been saying all offseason since the end of the game. We need to help this defense. You can't be throwing Anthony Nelson out there and Yaya and thinking you're going to have edge rush dominance, okay?
Yeah.
And even with Hassan, like that was a hope for something. You got to prove me something that you're trying to look under every stone like they did with the quarterbacks. Oh, what's option number 2? What's under this rock? Like they made it a big sob story or narrated issue. How about we do that with the defense and find a way to fix it? Yeah. Like it's been not just Todd Bowles, it's a lack of talent on that side of the ball. And for you or any fan to tell me that this defense is stacked and then blame Antoine Winfield Jr. for why the defense isn't doing good, the guy furthest away from the ball, the guy asked to do every damn thing under the sun. But you're not going to look at the front 7 or front 4 to be exact to point any blame. And Yaya says it the best. He's like, I'm the only one rushing, it feels. Okay, cool. So he himself is saying there's no one else. I need help. It's not necessarily a slash at Todd Bowles or any other player. It's just like, damn it, no one else is kind of doing it. I need help. And he isn't an awful one, but he's just not. I think he's a 1B. He's never going to be an edge elite player. We've never had that. And we haven't had that for years.
Yeah, I think Yaya Diaby, for what he is, he's a great 3rd-round pick. He's going to provide you, a very solid high-end number 2 edge that can give you what he gives you, and that's anywhere from 7 to 8 sacks, maybe 10 on a top season. Like his best season is probably going to be somewhere around that 10 sacks. I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that gives you 15 per year. But what he can do, and I think he's a power rusher, and I think what we've been talking about a lot is adding more speed, adding more speed pass rush to say. And you lost that last year with Kalijah Kancey going down. Him getting injured was a big blow. Logan Hall most likely is going to be gone going into free agency, so he won't be back. You have Yaya Diaby, Vita Vea, Elijah Roberts, Hassan Reddick won't be back. So your edge room definitely needs, you got to add something there, because right now, for the most part, you have Yaya locked in. Maybe Chris Braswell. Again, I think he will be in the mix just because he's under contract. They could cut him. Anthony Nelson still has 1 more year. So there's 3. You're going to get David Walker back. That's another guy. So, but I think you got to bring in at least 1 or 2 edge rushers, and you're probably going to need another interior defensive lineman, maybe 2 of those as well, because Greg Gaines, I don't think, should be back. Jason Jones, I like. I think Elijah Simmons, I like. And you just need to add more to that and get another guy that could potentially back up Kalijah Kancey if he goes out. And you also need some beef to back up potentially Vita Vea.
I'm 100% with you on this. Like like Jason Light was saying this a lot last year about depth. He was talking about depth a lot. You got it in the back end. You didn't necessarily get it in the front end.
Right.
And guess what happened? You got hurt in the front end early and often, and you had nothing to do, no answer for it.
Yeah.
You had nothing. Even Jason Jones got hurt. You couldn't even bring his ass up. And then Elijah Simmons comes in. He does show some flashes, but he's truly just a run stuffer.
Yeah.
He's not. He can generate some push, but he's never going to be able to disengage as the length of the arms and stuff like that. He's
Right.
not speed like Elijah. You just had no answer. So you didn't have depth of your defensive line. And I know he gives this quote of you can't fix everything every off season, but you got to have a way of a plan that you have that you're looking to improve on. You can't. And if your plan was to correct the back end to fix the front end, that is an awful plan. Awful plan, especially considering you were expecting young rookies, 21-year-olds, to be your saviors in your back end, to rely on a piss poor pass rush. You're saying you're going to rely on Elijah Cansey to stay healthy the entirety of the season when he's an undersized, lighter defensive tackle to stay healthy, and he's never proven he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
What the hell are we thinking? It's the same thing we said about why the hell didn't you address the middle linebacker position? You're saying Servassier Dennis shows you can never stay healthy. And in the couple handful of games, he had some good games, but he has a high missed tackle rate, a very high missed tackle rate. And what do we see it? The same exact shit. It's like you don't see your damn team well. And that to me is a player personnel issue. That's not necessarily a coaching issue. And there's the people say that Todd Bowles is stubborn for playing a certain way. How the hell do you expect a guy to coach a team that has no dogs up front, a whole bunch of young guys in the back, and then you're going to rely on Antoine Winfield Jr. to be your savior, and then you have Tyke Smith who can't really play deep, and then he gets hurt too. It's like there were so many liabilities on this defense that you can't say you're stacked. You're stacked in offense. Hell yeah, you're stacked. Defensively, no. You have Vita Vea. Great. Yaya. Tall Florida guy said it. He's a solid number 2.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's a good, very good player. I'm not going to down him. Top 25 edge rusher, probably.
Yeah.
Top 10 that's going to scare you and you're going to game plan around him? No.
Right.
Not at all. And then to say Logan Hall, looking at this depth chart's hilarious. Logan Hall, starter over Elijah Cansey, Elijah Roberts, still Elijah Cansey back there.
Yeah, this is all out of whack, but
still, like the whole thing is Elijah Roberts, good pass rusher, quick, terrible against the run. Logan Hall, awful against the run.
Yeah.
Did better against the pass this year, a little bit more consistent. He's gotten better throughout the years, yes, but still not a guy that I would say is a starter in this league and you're going to count on him.
No.
There's a lot of holes. You have Logan Hall, Elijah Roberts. If you're looking at this depth chart, those two. Servassier, massive hole. Yep. Jamel Dean, if he can stay healthy, great, but he doesn't. Another guy, Tyke Smith, playing deep, liability just now. Okay? Like at the end of the season, there was a lot of times because the Patriots, the Dolphins, plenty of times he gave up yards. And then all these young guys. Jacob Parrish was phenomenal, yes, but Benjamin Morrison, he had good games, he had bad games because you're a rookie. You got to go through some growing pains. You can't expect everyone to be a dominant force like how Wirfs and Wirfs and Winfield were in their Super Bowl season, right? But again, when Winfield was a rookie, he had Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, JPP, and Vita Vea all in front of him. What the hell does he have in front of him right now? Yeah. What is that hogwash bullshit that's in front of him? You can't compare this pimple that I'm staring at right now on this screen to what the hell we had in 2020 when we went on a Super Bowl run. And then Tristan Wirfs had Tom Brady getting the ball out in like less than 2 seconds. Now we have Baker Mayfield running around trying to get something going because he's not seeing it immediately. So like there's a lot of variables that people aren't looking at and that I have issues with.
No, I'm with you there. I think, obviously, and that gets into our, discussion for tonight, and that's the offseason priority, which is improving the front seven, and that has to be at the forefront. You have to find a way to improve the linebacker position, and you got to add the edge rush. You got to add interior defensive linemen, and I think you got to add at least probably 2 to 4 guys up front, like we touched on earlier. And then at the linebacker position, you're going to need at least 2 linebackers and maybe even more, which is going to be very important. And yeah, speaking of tall Florida guy, bringing up Cassius Howell here, we're right there with you. I'm going to bring my tweet up. I put this out over the weekend. Mark and I had a lot of discussions about Cassius Howe, and I think he really fits what you're looking for. I mean, and this is with the caveat that Sonny Styles is off the board. Sonny Styles is a tier above. I mean, he's just a very good, perfect prospect as far as linebackers go, and he's exactly what they need. But with that said, if you can get a Cassius Howe who is a legit speed rusher, a guy that can win the edge and force, guys to step up in the pocket into your defensive tackles, help out Yaya Diaby on the other side. That's what you have to look at. Now, again, Cassius Howe, he's going to have the big outlier with his arm length. He's, sub 31-inch arm length. Not great, Bob, but it's going to, I think when you look at the football acumen, and I'll bring this up on the stage, when you look at him here and just see how he can win in so many different ways. Yes, in so many different ways with his pass rush. And be sure to check out our film studies available up on our YouTube channel and also on our Substack if you want a full breakdown of him. He can just do so many different things, and like being able to dip and rip, be able to bend. And yeah, a lot of people will say, oh, well, it's just the same move over and over. But guess what? He knows how to do that move consistently and do it at a high level. Even there with the spin move, yeah, he gets shoved down, but there's just so many possibilities. Him being able to show power here, and then being able to, I like how his motor just continues on, and you can see like he just never quits as far as when he's in there rushing the passer, doing different things. So he's a lot of fun, and I think he would be an easy selection for the Buccaneers at 15, especially if the linebacker position is not there in a Sonny Styles or even an Arvell Reese, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm huge on Cat. First of all,
yeah.
What was the nickname you said? Cash Money Howell?
Cash Money.
That is badass. First of all, yeah. But second of all, this guy has speed, has quick twitch, played multiple sports during high school or growing up, played baseball, basketball, football. Said he was best at baseball. This guy's just determination and just grow up or glow up, as the youngins say nowadays, is phenomenal. Like a guy that was with his mom, then had to choose to go to his dad's because he knew it wasn't the right process of growing up as a man. That's a guy that had to choose where his life was going to go to. That already is saying he's a Buccaneer man in that respect. So I think he checks the box on that. Going from Bowling Green to choose to go to Texas A&M because their history with pass rushers, Von Miller, then all the Shamars from last year. Yeah. This guy's way better than them.
Oh yeah,
way better. Like the quick twitch, the ability to ghost move, the ability to bait tackles, to think he's going to touch them and then pull the hand away, then to spin inside, then do speed to power, then to literally. The arm length thing, yeah, it's an issue. No. The thing is, if you're a smart edge rusher, you know how to manipulate guys. You know how to win with his speed. And I think he's going to show that. He's going to show his quick twitch. That first 10 yards is going to look phenomenal. Will his 40 look great? Who the hell gives a shit about a 40?
Yeah.
I'm talking first 10 and quick twitch ability. Does he have that? I think he's going to prove that in the what do I call it? The Panty Olympics. Whatever the hell it's called, Tidy Whitey Olympics.
Yeah.
Well, like combine. The combine for those who don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But his bendability, flexibility, ability, determination to get after the quarterback. And one thing he talks a lot about is finishing, something his team doesn't know how to do.
Right.
Especially last year, the year before that the Commanders game still tortures me, how Kalijah Kancey's right there to make it, and we don't get it. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So my thing with this team, their emphasis this year has to be finishing for one, but getting yourself a legit edge rush presence where you can say, okay, guys are scared and we have to think about where the hell is it not just where is it coming from, but we have to worry about one guy.
Yeah.
If you have to worry about one guy and Todd Bowles sends a scheme the other way, you're effed. I would say it fully, but I'm not drunk. I got right. So you are, because Todd Bowles can scheme up a whole lot of different things. If you're worried about one guy, you can use it as a weapon. That's what he was doing with Kalijah Kancey, and guess what? He's hurt damn near the whole year.
Yeah,
then it brings us to this guy.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Odafe Owe. Be sure to check out our Substack. Just put a video up on him talking about free agents, and I think that definitely, and that gets back into your earlier points about Jason Light and how he builds this team, the front office. I think you have to attack all avenues. It can't just be about the draft, and you have to find ways to supplement your roster, and whether that's free agency, trades, which we'll get into in here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Trades. I think, and then obviously the draft. The draft is what you're trying to build your team. That's where you usually find your star players. But at the same time, you got to bring in some veterans to help support that. And getting a guy, if Owe becomes available in free agency, there's a possibility he probably doesn't, because again, the Chargers did trade for this man.
Yeah.
Most likely you would think they want to keep him. You know, salary cap money is not an issue for the Chargers. So probably he comes back. They did lose out Jesse Minter though, and maybe Jesse Minter was the big reason why they traded for this guy. So we'll have to see, like, does he become available because maybe the new defensive coach is just not a fan of him, you know? But I think him, I think, who's the other guys that we've mentioned? Boye Mafe is another one that definitely has to get considered. He's playing in the Super Bowl this week. We'll talk about the Super Bowl at the end of the show, but Boye Mafe, you look at Arnold Ebiketie is going to be available. You got to get some guys in here that can rush the quarterback. Joey Bosa,
guy that's in the Super Bowl right now, Caleb Von Chason.
Yeah, Caleb Von Chason. Yep.
It's not necessarily the team you're on. Again, look at your front office. What was your grade on Caleb Von Chason when he came into the NFL? It doesn't just phenomenally poof and go away. Mm-hmm. If you like what you saw on tape, trust the tape. For a front office that says that's all they care about.
Yep.
What the hell? This guy went for pennies, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's a piece of trash. He's not good." Because you were on the Jaguars, who were piss poor, and then they get Cohen. They look great. Why? Look, they got a number 1 overall pick and Travon Walker, right?
Yeah.
And then who's on the other side? Josh Hines Allen, because you can't just say Josh Allen. 2 dominant edge rushers. What do you know? They got a good defense. What do we have? Yaya Diaby, and I don't know who the hell's on the other side.
Yeah, it's a question.
And then Yaya Diaby, you can't compare to some of these guys. You just can't. He's a good player, but he's not a great player. Right. So it's like, and he got better last year. The pass rush win rate was there. He just didn't finish. Yeah. And that's a credit to, he can't bend the corner as well as other people. Yeah, he's winning off of stunts.
Yeah, he's a power rusher. And I think, when you play to that strength, and he's a very good strength. And then obviously the athleticism on his ability to run down quarterbacks is really good. Containing, doing all those kind of things, I think is good. But you need something to complement that. You need to change the pace. And that's why we mentioned, Cassius Howe. We mentioned going after potentially Owe, or Boye Mafe is another one who can win with speed. He can also win with power. So there's just a lot of different avenues that you have available in free agency. We'll have to see who becomes legit, on the market. But that turns my attention, and there's a comment right there pointing in the face. Crosby, question mark. Yeah, mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a very good point. And I want to play this, and this was just reported a couple hours ago. Play this interview for you guys. This is Jay Glazer talking about Max Crosby, and he's most likely done with the Raiders. So just give this a listen, and hopefully you guys can hear this.
There's a couple guys. If they tell you they're playing, they're playing.
I think his time with the Raiders is done.
I do.
Before the draft?
Probably, yeah.
Is there a landing spot that makes sense in your opinion?
A ton of them. I'm not going to say
What
what it is yet because I'm going to try and help it out.
Sure, sure. What kind of haul do you think realistically a Max Crosby gets in general?
He probably more than Micah. So the day it happened, no less than 20 teams called me and asked, dude, is this real? Can we?
Myself. Yeah, I don't know why I can't hear it. I thought I shared the audio. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, he was talking about.
Oh, just slightly. It was low, I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe if I turn this up.
It's just we can't share that screen, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Is that why?
Let me see. Let me stop. Let me try this way, and then maybe we can get it to go. There we go. Now you probably can hear it. All right.
There we go.
All right.
Let's
I'll restart it now. Now
There's
you
a couple guys.
should hear it.
If they tell you they're playing, they're playing.
I think his time with the Raiders is done.
I do.
Before the draft?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Is there a landing spot that makes sense in your opinion?
a ton of them. I'm not going to say
What
what it is yet because I'm going to try and help it out.
Sure, sure. What kind of haul do you think realistically a Max Crosby gets in general?
He probably more than Micah. So the day it happened, no less than 20 teams called me and asked, dude, is this real? Can we get him? What's it for? I'm like, God, we're not there yet, but yes, it's real.
Do you think his time with the Raiders is done because that's a Raiders decision or because that's a Max
It's Max's
Crosby decision?
decision. They didn't want to do it. But he was just like, I'm not going through another rebuild. There's a couple guys. If they tell you they're playing, they're playing.
I think his time with the Raiders is done.
I do.
Yeah, there you go. I think there's replaying it. There you go.
Yep. So I'm sorry if you guys couldn't hear that, but he was just talking about Max Crosby's most likely done. As you see here in the tweet, he was talking about the trade compensation could be more than Micah Parsons. I'm not of belief that's probably going to be more. I would say it's going to start with potentially 2 first-round picks. Is that going to involve a player? Maybe, but I think with the Raiders situation and their new coach, you're going to have a new quarterback. Most likely, they're going to be looking for draft compensation to really rebuild the team. So maybe you're talking a first-round pick, maybe a future, and then maybe an additional third or something along those lines. So with this said, Mark, what's your thoughts as far as how aggressive should the Bucs be in on this? Obviously, they should make a phone call, but is this something we should legitimately consider, or should we look at? I would personally go after like Nick Herbig. Herbig would be my choice if we're going to trade for somebody, but Crosby is obviously a great pass rusher and could instantly change the defense.
I think it's of course you're going to call, you're going to ask,
Right?
you're going to wonder, right?
Yeah.
And this is coming off of us saying we have to address this pass rush, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy that's a proven guy. You know what you're going to get with him. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4 years of over 10 sacks.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of good statistics, 69.5 for his career.
Mm-hmm.
Very consistent player, a guy you have to game plan for, right? And
Right.
that's something I just talked about. But the thing is, how much is that asking price? And we're talking with a guy in Jason Light that doesn't want to give up too much. He's more of a buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
He never really sells. What am I talking about? He's usually a buy low guy.
Yeah.
He's like a gold holder. He holds and waits for it to go up. So I just don't think we're going to be in there. I know every Buck fan wants it.
Mm-hmm.
I know John Gruden wants it.
Yeah.
And he would be a typical guy you would want to like motivate this defense to play the right positions, be in the right spot, give you the edge rush pressures that you so desperately need.
Mm.
But the price was going to be astronomically high. I mean, I know he said, it's probably going to be more Micah. I don't understand how that's possible. Considering
Yeah.
it's a younger guy. He's younger than him. He's a better. I'd say he's a better player. He's a better, more electric player.
Mm.
Crosby's just an attitude, a consistent effort. He's just a damn good player. But I think Micah's got an upper echelon, like top 3 in the league. I don't know if Crosby is a top 3 in the league kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, after Myles Garrett, there's a big chunk down, then I think it's Micah Parsons. But I mean, that's me. And then the JJ Watt, or not JJ. Hell, what's his first name?
Who are you talking about?
Not JJ Watt. What's the brother's name?
Oh, TJ Watt.
TJ Watt. Same J.
Yeah.
But still, like they're right in that group. Him and Micah, I would say, were kind of close. That's Myles Garrett than that. But I don't know if Crosby's to that level. I mean, the most ever 14.5 sacks.
Yeah.
He's a damn good player. Don't get me wrong. But
he is.
I just don't know if we're going to give that price tag kind of thing.
Yeah, you also have to factor in, again, it's also his contract. His cap hit going into this season is at $35 million, almost $36 million. So you also have to factor that in. If you get someone like Max Crosby, does that allow you to bring back a Mike Evans on offense? Does it allow you to address other positions that you potentially need, especially at linebacker? So personally, I would probably go a different direction. I would probably go after Nick Herbig if we were going to trade for someone that's 24 years old, someone that, look at that hair. But Nick Herbig is one who's 24. He's entering a contract year, so you would have to give him an extension and probably a pay raise. So that's something to think about. But he's also one that I think is an up-and-coming pass rusher and could put up more production with more playing time. So that would be kind of the move that I see. It's very similar to the Shaq Barrett type of move where he
Uh-oh.
I don't know why that was playing. You know why? That's why, because I shared the audio. Sorry about that, guys. But I think with Herbig, I think he can do a lot of similar, different things that you need for this defense. Also younger. So, yeah, it would just be a huge investment. Not saying the investment wouldn't be worth it, but it's just a lot to consider. And plus, Crosby is coming off of, knee surgery that he's having this offseason. So you have to worry about, how's his body holding up and all of that. But yeah, you look at Herbig again, every year he's improved. He got one more start this season, 6-5. So again, if he's playing a full season, you probably project those numbers to go up, and you're probably looking at a double-digit sack guy that could help with Yaya Diaby and provide some of that speed rush that you're looking for.
I'm with you on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Will they want to trade him? I know they have under who's the other guy?
They have Alex Highsmith, I believe.
Highsmith.
Yep.
Yeah. And they just signed him to a big contract. So do they find him unable to be signed because of how he's playing? I mean, this is comparable to what you're going to see with, I think, Cassius Howell. Around 6'2", 240. I think Cassius Howell will be a little bit more.
Yeah.
31 1/4. That's not big. That's not world breaker.
No.
But 46.5, 40, 159 split. The guy knows how to rush. Very much strong in the bench press. 34-inch vert. So he's an athlete. Hell yeah. So can Cassius Howell give you that? If you're looking at the draft, do you weigh trading for Nick Herbig? What is that price tag going to be as well?
Yeah.
Max Crosby, that price tag is
it's up there.
It's way past there. So it's
I think Herbig you could probably get for a second-round pick. I think that's probably more the price tag that you're willing to give up. Second, third-round pick.
And I'm talking this.
Yeah.
We traded a second-round pick for JPP. It feels
like
third-round
pick, but yeah.
It's like, it seems like a decade ago. That's how long ago it was. So I couldn't remember. History gets fumbled around when that happens.
It does.
But people want to hype up a GM because he made moves years ago
Right.
What has he done for you lately? You talk about drafts, but you're not signing guys, not trading for guys. What are we doing to improve the defense? You got a JPP you traded for, which we're trying to ask for a trade right now for something. A lot of Bucs fans are saying we need to find a way to get edge rush, get a better defensive player. You can't just rely on a defensive coach who is your head coach, to just make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You just can't. Okay. So you got to get some dogs around this race. That's what I've been repeatedly saying consistently. You got to get a trade going. If it's not a trade, you got to be able to draft a guy. If it's not a draft, you got to be able to what?
Sign.
Sign a guy. Wow.
Yep.
What do you know? When we got signed guys like Shaq Barrett or Ndamukong Suh, big money for Ndamukong Suh. What have you spent big money on recently?
Yeah. Not on the defensive side.
You're so reliant on your in-house moves that you have to be 100% in your drafts for that to work. Guess what? You failed with Braswell.
Yeah.
To me, it was
hasn't worked out. Braswell, obviously, Logan Hall not working out. Kalijah Cansey's been injured, so that's put a damper on that. And then, unfortunately, you just haven't been able to replace Devin White, and that's not a good sign when you can't replace Devin White. And Devin, again, he had a really good stat year this past season with his, all the tackles that he got. But again, you got to find ways to improve. Yeah, exactly. Joe Montana. But yeah, you got to find linebackers. You got to find people in the front seven that can make the defense work. And you look at the two Super Bowl teams that we're going to see on Sunday, New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are a great example because they brought in a defensive-minded head coach and same thing with Mike Vrabel. He's also a defensive-minded head coach.
Oh, but I thought we needed offensive players. We had coach players. What are you talking about? Don't tell me this.
But look at what they've brought in.
So you had to sign someone.
You did have to sign people, and they have
take some notes on this. Plus, what the hell are you talking about? I thought you just draft.
But also, they have drafted well too. They found ways to get their quarterbacks. They made a move for Sam Darnold.
Unsigned a guy.
They signed Darnold, and then
traded the other one away.
Yeah,
So you got to trade and sign. I didn't know a GM could do anything besides that.
Getting Drake May for the Patriots, and just his ascension that he's had so far. But getting Mike Vrabel, obviously getting a leader, a guy that can change the culture. But on top of that, they brought in guys that they know can come in and play. They got Milton Williams in a big free agent move. They got Chase on as well, you mentioned, and then also Harold Landry. They brought him in. They added linebackers, Robert Spillane, getting him from Las Vegas. And you look at Seattle, what Seattle's done, they've improved their front seven with Brian Murphy Jr. They've added DeMarcus Lawrence, a veteran. They also added Boye Mafe, who should have been the Buccaneers pick over Logan Hall, but I digress. You look at what they got at linebacker. They made a move and got Ernest Jones, and also they extended him, not letting him get to free agency. And then you get Nick Imori in the draft last year, who is a big-time player for them and just utilizing him the right way. So it's all about how they use all the avenues to build their team, making trades, making free agent signings, and also supplementing those signings with your draft picks. And that is something that the Buccaneers just haven't done recently. They haven't done it enough in the last several years. I think you had some salary cap issues. I think you're beyond the salary cap issues now, and you got to find a way to balance your team. I think it's been too top heavy on the offense, and when you don't have the right offensive coordinator, it's not going to succeed and help out your defense. So that definitely has to be a factor, and also brings in like the discussion, and maybe we save this for the next time, but do you let Cade Otton walk? Do you let a potentially Mike Evans walk to maybe make the team more well-rounded and put more resources on the defensive side of the ball. I'm for one, you definitely have to hope Levante David retires. I just don't think he should be back. I wouldn't spend the money on him. I know he's an okay player if healthy, and I know he was hurt last year, but I just think Father Time has finally caught up, and I would rather invest into new linebackers, new blood there that is going to help this defense. And I think Levante, mentally, I think it's just time for him to go and retire. So hoping that happens, but it just brings the question of, like, you gave Chris Godwin all this money last year. You drafted Emeka Egbuka. You still have Jalen McMillan. Maybe it's the time to make a shift at receiver as well. But I still believe Mike's coming back regardless. If he wants to come back, they'll bring him back. But it just something to think about. Something to think about.
It's a scary thought for a lot of Buck fans, but it is a reality you could have to face sooner rather than later.
Right.
It's because, does he think this is the best place to win to the end of his career? Does he even want to come back? I know.
Yeah.
I don't think he thinks of any other team as his team, but I mean, hell, Tom Brady left the Patriots, right? And you never know. You never know. I mean, I don't want him to leave, but I could see the reality if he did.
Yeah.
Right. But also, there's a lot of talking points. I wanted to kind of answer this. Where was it? It was K. There we go. K Leard 2. It was another early show. We're going to start trying to do them at 7 just for earlier convenience. I know a lot of it was been such later shows based off of bedtime, but we're trying to do it before bedtime of kids. And I guess where people are more awake. I don't know if it's a mess up of schedule or not, but let us know down below. But also, so what you were talking about, Levante David, Bud Campbell said Levante is ready for his gold jacket. Yeah, he should be a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And to me, if he wants to come back, I would sign him back too. I know you're like, oh, but he's older. I just think he would play better than Servatia Dennis did. Did he show a little bit of age? Yes.
Yeah.
But is he still a damn good player?
Sure.
Absolutely. I think he's better than a majority of linebackers that are in the NFL. Yeah. I still think he can ball out. And especially if you get him a front set 4 that can make it easier on him, he'll show who the hell he is.
Yeah.
But that's what you need. We don't have that. And that's what I've been trying to stress for so damn long. And then you're making the case of like what the Patriots did. Okay, we've been hearing the bullshit of the credit card for so damn long. The Tom Brady years, blah, blah, blah. So if you can spend, you want to spend. The Patriots went out, they had money. They not only got Milton Davis, Harold Landry, Caleb Von Chason, and Spillane, like you mentioned, but guess who else they got? They got Carlton Davis, a guy that Bucs fans ran out of town almost because he was trash. But guess what? He's gotten 2 years in a row of bigger contracts because he's a sticky press man guy that when you have pass rush, he's pretty damn good.
He is. Yeah.
And it's funny to see Twitter people saying, oh, look at him. The second he leaves Tampa, he turns into, no, he's always been a good player. You just didn't have the dogs to run the race to make him look good. It's 11 working as 1, not the back end working, and the front side does nothing. Right. Yeah. And that's where it's like, blows my mind, guys. Come on, let's think bigger picture. Like, why are we so stuck on blaming one person when a lot of it's like everything's got to work together? And if the front guys aren't doing something, how's the back guy supposed to do anything? Right. And then you look at the offense. You got Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, and Garrett Bradbury. And it's not like all these guys were huge contracts. And then we're talking about the cheapest guy and Jason Light that wants a nickel penny. I am a frugal man, very much so. So I believe in that.
Yeah.
Garrett Bradbury, good center coming out of college. They signed him. Guess what? Their offensive line center sealed and signed, and right.
And
then you look at even Caleb Von Chason was a $5 million deal, and someone was telling me that was trash. He's trashing the Jaguars. Why would you expect him to do better? Because of what I saw on tape when he was coming out of college and the little sample sizes I would get at the Jaguars. Guess what? They were never up. So you didn't have opportunities to freaking rush like how you want to rush. all those factors play in. You got to look at it bigger picture. You can't be just so pigeonholed to think, oh, they just didn't show it to me, so I didn't see it on ESPN, so it's not real. I hate that, and that's why we talk so damn much on the show.
I just want to answer this. Yeah, they couldn't trade Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a unrestricted free agent, so they wouldn't be able to trade to get any type of capital for him. I think most likely he is going to be back as a Buccaneer, but we'll see. Again, it's going to come down to dollar and cents. And for what Mark was saying, Jason Light is very strict with what he gives money-wise to players. They have a number in mind, and they stick to that number. I think that process needs to be changed. That needs to definitely change this year. Because you got to be aggressive. I think it's a time to put in the resources to make this team, because really you're not that far from being a championship contender. They could be a championship contender this year if you make the right moves, especially on the front seven. You have the personnel and the back end. I think you have a good young core that could work very well. And you're addressing the coaching staff on that side. You're going to have new coaches at cornerback coach and also safeties. And I think that was a big issue last year. And we discussed that before. There's a definite rift in that back end, and that definitely affected their play. But yeah, you got to get linebackers. If that does mean Levante David is back, I'm good with it, but you got to find a running mate to go alongside of him, and also find another depth piece behind him just in case. Whether that's Servassier as your third linebacker, okay, but you got to get a talented linebacker to pair up with, whether that's a Devin Bush, who should have been probably the pick the Bucs should have made all those years ago, but that remains to be, that's hearsay. But Devin Bush, I think, would be a good target. Nakobe Dean has been talked about a lot. You look at Devin Lloyd. Got to do something. You got to go make some bold moves this offseason, because the time of the culture, this, that, that's why you have a culture in place, to rein in guys and get them all bought into what you're trying to do here. And if that means spending a little bit more here and there, then that's what you have to do. You got to find ways to make it work and build the team the right way.
So I'll agree of culture, but you can also damage a culture too.
You could, but I think you have a strong culture here in place that could, get people in line. I mean, you brought in Antonio Brown, for Christ's sakes.
Tom Brady was his babysitter, though.
Yeah.
He literally stayed at his house. I mean, I don't mean to say babysitter, but
right.
He was at his house the whole time. All right, and also Brother Cannabis talking about, we did say to draft Tryon. Yes, I mean, that was a COVID year. We liked what physicality he did show in the 1 year, and then he took the year off of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Did he expand and grow here? No. But shit, it sucked. Was he an awful player? No, I think Logan Hall is a worse player, but that's just me. Yeah. Is he a liability? No, he just didn't produce the numbers that people wanted. But I liked the pick. I still do. It's just some guys pan out, some guys don't. He had every trait you wanted of length. And let's think about that. He had the length, he had the size, he had the weight, he had everything you wanted. It just didn't pan out. So sometimes that's why I'm you have to throw a little bit more at it, or you pay more in free agency for guys can do it.
Yeah.
So either draft guys like this, or they fit the qualities that people look for, or you sign for it. And I thought that was a fair risk. Bomb of this first round. Hell yeah. Good pick in my opinion, but just didn't pan out. He did a lot of things as in the drop back situation, but also it pairs into, is he the number one edge rusher? No, he's likely a number two, or hell, at this stage of his career, probably a three. So some guys just don't pan out.
Yeah, it happens. But again, that just goes more into our discussion here. You got to throw more darts at the table. And I think that's what they have to do at linebacker, edge, interior defensive line. You got people who are up for contracts next offseason. You have Yaya Diaby, who's going to be a free agent. You got Vita Vea, who potentially could be back or not be back. Like all those things you have to factor in. But I think a good plan of process is going to be, see who becomes available. Hello, Braden. See who becomes available as far as potential targets. Hello. Potential targets in free agency and who's actually a real person to get. And then you have to double dip that onto the draft as well. So all that matters. He's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, so the thing is also with him, he was very just like speed to power. He didn't really have moves after that, and he didn't expand on that. When we're looking at Cassius Howell, he does a lot of different things, not just speed to power. He has different ghost moves, different overall pass rush moves in general. So intermission.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is why we do this time over bedtime. But but overall, it's like I think pass rush plan is actually huge. Tryon Sharinka didn't have that, and that's another thing with like when we're looking at guys, we get better every year because we're saying, okay, well, shit, that clearly didn't work. So you find things that didn't work and you put that into your analysis, right? You can't just say, oh yeah, I failed once, so I'm terrible, right? It's almost like working out. You have to go to failure to figure out what the hell your max is. So you got to keep thinking it out. So they don't see failure. And that's why we say when we lose, see what the hell happened in the loss. You learn a lot more in the loss than you do in the victories.
Right.
So when you start finding guys that didn't work, I don't know why I should have crossed.
No, it's okay.
We see guys that didn't work. Okay, you look for why didn't it work, and you put that into the evaluation of the next guy. You don't want to get the thing that didn't work. And that's why I think with Jason Light, he's looking at a lot of it as mentality. But you can't just solely say mentality is the only thing that makes a winner or a player good. You got to look at intangibles. You got to look at ability, like how do they perform, consistency of performing, not just mentality of performing. So, it's a whole laundry list of things. But a guy that can give you everything on the outside, I think Cassius Howell is like that. He just doesn't have the length.
Yeah, for sure. I think what you see with Cassius Howell is you see plenty of trends showing that he knows how to win. He knows how to get by offensive tackles. He knows how to play to his strengths. He knows what they are. He understands he doesn't have long arms. So you're not going to see the guy do a long arm move. Like that's not going to be what he's going to try to do. You're not going to see power moves. He's going to do what's going to win. Can he change it up and do some power? Sure. But he's going to make sure he gets that offensive tackle off balance, and he's going to have a plan in place where he sets things up later in the game. And I've seen that constantly throughout his tape. And I feel like him in a 3-4 defense, being a stand-up rusher, even some of the footwork stuff, it's going to make him better. But overall, throughout this show, we've talked about front seven. That is something definitely needs to be on the priority. We mentioned some names to look at, trade targets. Nick Herbig obviously would be a great addition. We've talked about Odafe Owe, a potential free agent add. Boye Mafe would be another good one. Even Jadeveon Clowney. I think if you brought in someone like Clowney, and this goes into, the culture, this and that, him being a me guy. But I think when you look at Clowney, what he brings to your team is he's going to be able to A, stop the run. B, he's going to provide a pass rush as far as just an overall depth player. And he's a major upgrade as far as like edge 3 goes. Like he could be your edge 3 or edge 4. He won't be signed to be a potential starter. He could be a starter, but it's more so like a spot starter, a guy that can just rotate, and you're upgrading over an Anthony Nelson who could be your edge 5. And then you have David Walker come in and be that, designated pass rusher. And then you also draft a Cassius Howell or another pass rusher in this draft to help out Yaya Diaby.
Yeah. And the main emphasis, like we've almost beat a dead horse now. It's like, you got to get the depth and rotation and just more talent in that front seven.
Yep.
And it's not just one guy. You need to put your attention to it like you do the secondary, like you did the secondary last year, right? You got to put some effort into there because you really haven't put much on there.
Yeah.
And in prior years, like we just said, like you traded for JPP, you signed a big contract guy in Dominican Sue. Why haven't we done that recently? Who was a big signing? Hassan Reddick on the edge? Okay, well, you failed. Guy that didn't really do it. Do you go a little bit more and find a guy who has proven it and has recently done it? Or do you find, give me a defensive tackle? Do we get back to our stop the run first and then we'll get the edge rush after it? Because we went to Logan Hall, Kalijah Canty, Elijah Roberts, thinner guys in the middle, and a run suffered.
Yeah.
Now we're getting gashed every which way. There was no strength. We mentioned that during the season. Like, you got to find a way to shore up that front seven because it is hurting, and it's hurting the rest of the defense. So that is the biggest talking point of this, and it's like Todd Bowles gets the blame because he's the head coach. He's your defensive coordinator in that season. You probably should have fired the defensive coordinator, to be honest.
Yep.
But like whole picture of it, I can see their excuse of like, oh, there's injuries. We just don't have the mans. We have young rookies that we had to count on too much. I can see both sides. And at this point, if they decide to go with Todd Bowles, you got to find a way to help them. Like point blank, right?
Yep.
And another one big point I wanted to make before we run away. For a guy that has decided on so many offensive coordinators the past 5 years of hearing different ways to attack an offense or attack a defense, blah, blah. I'm hoping in these new coaches, there is a meeting of the minds and finding ways where they can get better, not just Todd Bowles. How people say that he's just a yes man, getting coaches that are yes man. I can solve it all. I'm hoping there is more of a meeting of the minds and what can I do to make this better? What do my guys do better? How can we make this work? I'm hoping that happens. If there's one way, I hope that's what the side of the ball. I hope it is.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's something he mentioned at the season end press conference. He talked about, I didn't do a good enough job of putting these guys in position, and play to their strengths instead of, putting a square peg in a round hole. You got to find ways to adjust to your personnel. I think that's been a struggle for Todd Bowles, especially when injuries happen. He fails to adjust his scheme and overall play calling to match what he has on the field. But to our point, you got to get some more talent, especially better talent up front that can help him do the different things. So that's going to be important. And I think as we move forward here, we're into February now. We got the Super Bowl on Sunday. Eventually after that, you're going to have the combine. You're going to have a lot of things come out. And it should be interesting to see how these next couple of months pan out and who can they really go after. But I just want to see a plan. I want to have a plan in place. Like you mentioned, Mark, like we got to understand what exactly we need, and we have to make an emphasis, a urgent effort to make it a priority. I think that has to be the forefront for sure. With that said, Mark, who do you have in the Super Bowl on Sunday? I already know my pick. How do you see this Super Bowl playing out?
I think it should be Seattle. And I think Baker even said this, like it should be Seattle, but it's like, does Darnold throw interceptions?
Right.
Because I mean, that defense is good in New England. Like, they're very much an attacking defense.
Yep.
But there's so many weapons on Seattle. It's crazy. And the way Jackson Smith and Jigba's playing is ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, wow. And then their running game, once it gets there's so many variables it can do to scare a defense. I don't know. I think it is truly. Will it be a true defensive game? Because I mean, look at this. They barely beat Denver. It was in Denver.
Yeah.
The Patriots.
Yeah. And it was snow.
It was tough. But like the way that Seattle can get after it on defense, but also freaking force it down your face on offense, I think it would be hard to pick them.
Yeah.
And if it happens, it's because of turnovers. But Seattle's a strong favorite. I think they should win.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think Seattle finds a way to win this game. It's gonna, like you said, gonna come down to if Sam Darnold can play a good game. If he plays like he did against the Rams, I think they take it easily. I just think they're the better team defensively. I think they just get after it. They know what they are. They know how to get downhill, and they attack you downhill. It's just a constant in your face kind of style, and that's something I want to see the Buccaneers do. Like I want to see that. I want to see that identity on both sides of the ball, like they have. I think we're trying to build towards that, but now you got to go get the personnel and got to make that happen. Yeah, healthy team. Yeah, both of these teams are fairly healthy. I think that plays a huge part. And like you said, JSN is playing outstanding. So should be a fun game. Hopefully there's good commercials. Hopefully it's a good Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you all enjoy it. A lot of discussion tonight. Want to hear your guys' comments. What do you guys think? Who are you hoping this team goes after? We love to see names be brought up. We're definitely going to have more content coming as far as on the Substack. I just started a new series on the Substack. Very excited about it. Our free agent focus is what I'm calling it. We debuted Odafe Owe last night. So if you're not on our Substack, feel free to join. It's an awesome way to share not only our draft prospects, but free agents as well, and other types of film, content that we have planned. And then also check out our YouTube. We have a YouTube membership. It's exclusive for, film content in addition to what we're putting on Substack. So you can get a little bit of both worlds right there. So if you want to just stay on YouTube, join our YouTube membership. It's a great place to be. So appreciate everyone in the chat, everyone on X, and if you're joining us on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button as I bring it up here. I finally got that to work on the first try. But yeah, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and love to hear from you all. And with that said, I think we're good, Mark. We're going to close it out, and we'll see you. I don't know when we'll be live again, but definitely be live if something, happens as far as Buccaneers go, and probably see you in a couple weeks from now for sure. So everyone have a great week and go Bucs.
7 p.m. starts.
Yes, 7 p.m.